We are in a hard moment in America right now, and pretending otherwise would frankly be an insult to your intelligence and to your future. I believe we are living in another post-reconstruction moment.
Spring signals graduation season and commencement speech time, but one phrase proving wildly unpopular.
The rise of artificial intelligence is the next industrial revolution.
From a tech business executive to a music industry titan, AI clearly striking a sore spot.
AI is rewriting production as we sit here. Deal with it. Like I said, it's a tool.
I always look forward to graduation season because the commencement addresses give us all a chance to get a window into the kind of discourse that's happening in American academia. What kinds of ideas are being championed and which ones are being booed? We are hearing on one end that we are in the midst of a second reconstruction, and in another commencement speech, we're hearing boos when young graduates are hearing about AI.
AI is rewriting production as we sit here. Deal with it. Like I said, it's a tool.
At the University of Arizona, former Google CEO Eric Schmidt faced loud jeers on the topic.
The question is whether you will help shape artificial intelligence. We do not know.
And every post-reconstruction story is the story of a question. It is the question that confronted Sophia and Harriet when they sat down in that basement in 1881. It is the question that has confronted black women in this country in every generation since. And it is the question that confronts every woman in this arena today. What do you do when the conditions are not in your favor? You build anyway.
I do have to admit that even still today, it kind of surprises me still when I hear these kinds of speeches and they're very selective of the group they're talking about. This is at the Atlanta University Center, and not saying black people, but black women. Black women are behind the eight ball. Black women have to build. Black women always get out the mud, which I guess that's a way of thinking. But aside from the fact that it's very difficult to build a family with only women because you kind of need a man's genetic material and all of that stuff, and you may have boys. But that aside, this is part of the thinking that's on the modern American campus. And so if indeed this is the kind of thought that's going into the young people that are graduates of today in this new industrial revolution, my question is, are they prepared to deal with the fact of what's on the ground, or are they going to ask for things that maybe can't be paid for anymore in an empire that's not the empire that it used to be?
I'm not going to stand on this stage today and tell you that the country is fine. The country is not fine. We are not okay. We are in a hard moment in America right now, and pretending otherwise would frankly be an insult to your intelligence and to your future. I believe we are living in another post-reconstruction moment. During your 4 years on this campus, you have watched rights you assumed were settled get rolled back. You have watched diversity, equity, and inclusion be branded a threat, defunded, dismantled, even mocked. And so the same question stands. What do you do when the conditions are not in your favor? It is the same answer. You build anyway.
The question is whether you will help shape artificial intelligence. We do not know.
The speaker choice was controversial from the get-go. Some students launching a petition to replace Schmidt, in part because he's been accused of rape and sexual assault by a former girlfriend in a lawsuit currently under arbitration.
I have to admit that I'm a bit taken aback and surprised on the first hand by Simone Sanders equating the death of DEI with a second reconstruction ending. And in his second speech, the former Google of CEO telling young people, hey guys, AI is going to be a part of your life, and then booing him. I'm trying to imagine a commencement speech in China, Japan, Asia, where tech students are hearing about AI in their commencement speech and they're booing. And it's just a reminder of how much of modern academia is about making people feel a certain way. I can remember my commencement speech was about the internet and get ready for things to change, and you have to learn how to learn, and that's what you were here in school to do, and that you're going to learn many new skills in this new world, so get ready for it, and we accepted it. But in this new environment of academia, if you don't make the students feel a certain way,
I believe we are living in another post-reconstruction moment. During your 4 years on this campus, you have watched rights you assumed were settled get rolled back. You have watched diversity, equity, and inclusion be branded a threat, defunded, dismantled, even mocked.
then they got booze for you.
AI is going to touch everything else as well. Whatever path you choose, AI will become part of how...
When it comes to artificial intelligence and Gen Z, more than half say they use it regularly, according to a recent survey. But a third say the tech makes them feel angry, and nearly half say the risks of AI in the workforce outweigh the benefits.
If you'd let me make this point, please.
A workforce wary of what lies ahead. Valerie Castro, NBC News.
Unfortunately, at Howard and really across the country, we receive far fewer applications from black males than black females. I think in the 2025 application pool, we had upwards of 40,000 applications total. We had about 83 or 8,400 from males. Now, to be clear, that's a pretty significant number, especially when you think about our history. That's probably one of the largest pools of male applicants that we've ever received, but it pales in comparison to the black female.
It's interesting that we were just having a conversation about the breakdown of the male to female ratio on Howard's campus, and that there's 3 to 4 females for every 1 male. And we've been hearing forever, since Oprah, how black women are more educated and there are not enough black men on black women's level, and they're running circles around black men.
What do you think the challenge is that women are having, black women in particular, when it becomes to becoming a wife?
Keeping it 100,
Yes.
there's not enough eligible black males who fit the needs of black women. So black women are excelling. They're getting accelerated degrees, graduate degrees, doctorate degrees. They're starting businesses. Black women are running circles around men.
In this new environment where you're seeing layoffs and people that are getting degrees and not finding jobs, how do you justify spending $210,000, $220,000 in 4 years on Spelman's campus, or spending $160,000, $170,000, $180,000 going to Howard? I'm not saying that going to those colleges is not valuable. What I'm saying is, what are you going to learn on those campuses that's going to ensure that you can make that money back inside of a decade? And the answer is, you better be learning some AI.
If you'd let me make this point, please.
Were you on a Star Cruiser?
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
I have to admit that it's a bit strange for me to hear college graduates in America booing AI, especially when I know that their Asian counterparts are not booing AI. But as a Gen Xer, how many times did we dream of turning to our computer companion and saying,
Aren't you trying to increase the power?
For those of us that grew up using the Dewey Decimal System, AI essentially gave us all our own R2-D2 astromech droids. Things that would have taken us days, maybe even weeks to prepare can be done in mere seconds now. Instead of flipping word by word through dictionaries, we can essentially use AI to look at the questions that are on the test and tell us not the answer to the question, but the premise of the question is that these are the words in daily conversation that you need to know. And instead of doing these words one by one, you can get them all at the same time, and you can sit down and study them en masse. And if you have the will, the desire to put in the extra work, you have your own astromech droid essentially waiting to tell you, hey, listen, you want the shortcut? Here's the shortcut. Now you got to do your job. Go learn these words, learn how they're pronounced, and then give me another question so I can give you another set of words to study. That is R2-D2. I want to end this video by saying, 我很感谢人工智能。如果我没有人工智能，我不可能学汉语这么快。Of course, my accent is not very good, but the fact that I'm able to learn a third language this quickly is a direct result of having AI, or should I say my own astromech droid in my pocket or on my desktop. the fact that I was able in a 3-year period to answer questions like this at the beginning to now studying to answer questions like this in HSK 5, which is 4 levels above the first picture, is a direct attribute to the fact that with the right tools in your pocket, you can get a lot of work done. Now, I could use AI to answer the tests for me, but what AI has really allowed me to do is just boil out the most important parts of what's on the paper, get straight to that, and study those words and understand the weight that those phrases have in everyday conversation. Does it mean that it's easier to learn that way? No, because I still have to read the questions and understand the order and how they're used in the passage. But that's the work part that we have to do instead of complaining about AI taking over our jobs, because when I'm speaking to that person that is running a vendor or whatever, AI is not really going to be there to help me. But AI did help me get to the point where when I'm standing in front of that vendor, that person, and I'm relating to them in a way that I learned from the book that AI helped me understand more quickly, that's just a part of the new evolution that we have to get used to. And so the idea of lamenting that DEI is the beginning of the end of the second reconstruction, or that AI doesn't make me feel good, you got to get over yourselves. I'm sure the people watching my videos understand that. But if you understand what's coming, the people that are complaining about AI, they're just getting ready to get left behind. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. Catch you next video. Take care, guys.